So I'm just kind of scanning the body, just feeling more superficially if there's any tension. I don't really do massage at all anymore. There's only about 4 people that I've seen for 20 years that still ask for it, but for the most part I don't do it. But I'm sure that it's well remembered in my hands. Okay. So here we go. We'll apply the oil. I have to kind of squirt it out, so. Okay, and as you know, you put the oil on. Not too thick and not too thin. So all this time I've been away from massage, I've been concentrating a lot on many other things. Cranial sacral therapy and lymphatic massage, and seen many people post-op for lymphatic work. Had a number of great things happen with people's bad backs, headaches. So it's been a good productive time. And of course, like anything, I've grown myself in certain areas, so that I've probably learned a little more to share. Not so much in the field of massage, though, because massage is just massage. It works the muscles, and it's a good thing to have it worked. Remember how we spread the trapezius muscle open? And some of this is probably going to change from years ago a little bit, but not really. There's not a whole lot of ways you can change working on the muscle. But the routine might be a little different. And then, of course, running down the back, the spine. And coming back up. Always paying attention to where you are on the body, where the attachments are, where the skeleton is. I've gotten much more involved in posture and alignment from working so much with cranial sacral therapy and witnessing the changes that happen as people's spinal column becomes in proper alignment, closer to proper alignment, how much difference it means for pain, and how discs, if it's not too awfully bad, can find their way back to the proper place. There's a lot of really good things out there with medicine, so we should settle for choice, not a one-size-fits-all medical system, or we'll never be able to explore these new methods of health. So I'm just sweeping up the back now, and then I'll alternate again. And sweep up the back. I know Karina was pretty excited about this. So now we come up to the shoulder. Remember, we're pulling from the neck down. Getting a nice long stretch. Lengthening those muscles. It's actually going cross fiber along the trapezius muscle, but it's still feeling like there's a stretch to it. There's the scapula. I could get really carried away, so I'm going to be a little mindful of the time as well. So here I'm lifting up, going underneath this trapezius muscle, getting into the side part of the scapula, the outside of the scapula. And bringing it up. You can, of course, lift this up as well. Remember the scapula lift. If you're strong, you can do it like that, but be sure that you grab a hold of the whole shoulder so there's a lot of support on the shoulder. Otherwise, you cup it in your hand and lift with the leverage of your arm. You want to take care of your own body alignment as well. Okay. And the muscles of the back, the low back, along the hip. Some of the things I've been exploring is how to integrate alignment changes in the body after the alignment of the cranial system is in place. And there's some pretty interesting things I've discovered that seem to work really well. And that is just a ride up the spine, as you remember, and then into the second. It's kind of a three. There's a big muscle that goes up there, the erector spinae. So you go to the edge that it's attached, and then the center of it, and then the outer edge. It's got some other muscles that come into it and all that, and changes a little bit. But basically, you just follow that line. And then you want to get inside, pulling from the vertebrae. So the fingers just go in. I always feel for in between the vertebrae. And then you kind of pull with the fingers. Now, I'm going at a fairly rapid pace. But to start out, you're going to have to really slow it down and feel what you're doing, because you have to be sure that you're getting your fingers in there and actually grabbing the muscle. And it's quite a bit of work on the hands, and I know that as you do this more and more, your hands and arms will get very vascular because there's so much energy going into the work. And then back down where it's attached. It always feels good. And up the side. Okay, and now we're going to go to the other side. And I'm going to just stretch, and I'm going to go real quickly on this side because it's really uncomfortable for me, but it's also a repeat, and we want to be expedient with time. So the stretch, and I went across the shoulder. Now I'm going to go down along the shoulder blade so the angle changes of where you're taking your hands down. A lot of this I do use my fingers quite a bit, not the tips so much as the pads of the fingers. And then through the shoulder blade. Lifting up through the shoulder blade. Underneath. Sometimes when you go in here, you're going to have to go very slowly and carefully because it can be kind of ticklish for some people. So you don't want to startle them. And then you sweep your hands downward. And the back work, thumbs. Now you notice on the thumbs the whole hand is moving, so I'm not really thumb wagging. My whole hand works with it, And I guarantee that even doing this in the right alignment, there'll be a time when your thumb joints are a little tender. I noticed through the years of doing this, there's a lot of stiffness in my hands in the morning, but it wears through after I start moving my hands. So it's important to take care of them. It's important to keep the alignment. I think that's why some people can't hang with massage very long. The alignment that they assume isn't conducive to being able to keep those joints in good repair for a while, for a long while. So either they start to suffer from pain. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the other side, and we're going to do the spine work. Whoops. Okay. Remember, that's where your two fingers are on either side of the spine, starting at the base of the skull and vibrating back and forth. And then let's do a third one. Then here I like to take the thumbs and work them from the vertebrae. If you remember this one, those of you that have watched the old videos, where the thumbs are just right into that vertebrae, and then you're just kind of rolling downward and open to get you can feel the muscle stretching open. Some people it's going to be more relaxed. It's usually when you start out with people, it's pretty tense. If they keep their massage work and keep themselves in a fairly relaxed position when they get tense, then it'll open up. And then I'm just going to go back down that same way. Just rolling that thumb and working the whole hands in the process. And then I'm not going to go to the other side for this, so I'll use my fingers, but it's better to use your thumbs, and you can just pull it toward you. And I can feel it stretch, but it's a little harder to do, and it's also not quite, you can't quite do as good a job coming at you as you do on the other side, on the opposite side, and able to get down there and push away. It's not quite as effective pulling it, plus it's a lot harder work on your fingers. So, but because of camera angles and all that, I'm just showing you another way you can do it. Okay, and now the other, one more time down. I think it's important to work along the vertebrae, especially because now I've been working so much with the cranial sacral therapy that, I don't know, my world has just changed. It's a lot more subtle now than it used to be. Now here we're having the thumbs going right up alongside, and if you'll note that you can get deeper into it, but you don't want to push hard. You're just pressing as hard as it is that the muscles are opening for you. If you're pushing against that, then back out, because that's really not where you want to be. Okay. And then we can go around each vertebrae one at a time. And this is the lead finger, and then I do two more behind. And this just kind of stimulates in between each vertebrae. And then just doing sweeping movements. And I'll do some sweeping ones from here. And then pulling upward like you're wrapping. And then wrapping this way. And now, what I find really nice is to take your hand and just place it on the back of their, kind of where their sacrum is, and just wait for the hand to meld into the body. It's just, you're just laying it there. You're not putting any pressure, you're just laying it there and waiting for a few minutes, and you're going to feel like some activity maybe underneath. Everybody feels it a little differently, but what you're going to be feeling is like an energy exchange. And once you do that, if you lock into that and meld into that, and very slowly, just go very, very slowly up the spine with that amount of pressure, sometimes you'll feel actually muscles twitch and turn underneath your hand. But you want to go very, very, very slow, and you want to keep that melded feeling. I can't really tell you what it feels like. There's kind of like a little, it feels kind of like being next to a magnet with a little magnetic kind of feel. Just go real, real, real slow. Oftentimes, if you want, you can put your other hand over their head just to kind of hold any energy out of the crown and keep the energy in the body. And when I did that, I felt something change right at about T10. And slowly go all the way up. And then into the neck, just the same thing. And then just let it kind of brush slowly, and it's like you're moving energy off the body. And then there you go. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. And I think there's a little bell up there that you can hit that you'll get a notification every time we post. So if you want to, you can hit that too. But thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it.